Well, hello. Welcome to the 8th day of April, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation. I do this every morning to remember what's important to me and to see how I'm doing applying what's important to me to the day. I feel good. Slept pretty good. I did get up, but I did sleep pretty good. It was a good week. Another tough week. That's like the third week in a row that's been tough. I shouldn't really call them tough. I should call them normal. These are the way weeks are probably expected to be for the working man. Exhausted, yet feeling good. How did it go yesterday? Can't really think of anything in particular that I was challenged with yesterday. I had something interesting happen. It's getting hot. I was up by 90 yesterday. After work, I let it cool down a little bit. And then I took the dogs out for our evening walk. Now, we have a very nice little, it's not big, but it's a very, very nice backyard now up against the golf course. And our two dogs, the door's open during the day and they can go out. They even got a doggy door, but they don't they don't really use it. But the door, so we just leave the door open. And so they go in and out, do their thing, they can get up on the little thing and look out and see the golfers out there. And there's all kinds of geese and birds. There's a lake right out there. So it's a really very pleasant place. Anyway, so they have good access there to outdoors. In the afternoon, when I took them out for a walk, I leashed them both up. Ollie, the black dog, didn't want to go out, and I had to entice him to come. And they got the dogs out about half a block away, and Ollie decided he wanted to go home. He didn't want to continue. I guess it was too hot. Wasn't that bad. So I've been through that routine with him before. I took him back and dropped him off, and nice try, but I'll take the white dog out, Rudy. So I went out with Rudy. We got about just as far, and Rudy had enough. He wanted to come back too, so I took him back. So I dropped him off. And then I was left alone with my book. And so I took the leashes and put them away, and I said, well, I'm going to, it's important to get the steps in, so I'm going to go do my walk. So I took off, and it's my habit to read while I walk. It's my very best way of reading. Just, head down and just go. I have a pretty good ability to be aware of everything that's going on around me while I'm doing it. I rarely run into anything. Maybe I'll stumble over a curb once in a while. Anyway, maybe that's why I feel so good right now. I had the most fun. Because I wasn't all tangled up with the dogs, and because usually that's the trick, is walking and reading. Well, you've got two dogs that are one goes there, one goes here. You're all tangled up and falling over, and they get. I just took off at my pace, and I wandered, and I stopped, and I highlighted things because I keep all my colored pens and highlighted vocabulary. Pink for the new vocabulary, yellow for the paragraphs and sentences that I find interesting, the pen to write in little notes in the margins. Oh, I had so much fun. Principle of fun, right? Whew. That was really nice. Maybe that's why I feel so good. A very solid afternoon of reading. A solid evening of reading. Let's do the good life. 7 objectives. Pardon me. 30 principles. I think I realized what I missed yesterday. Remember, I did the lightning round. I missed 3 principles. I came up with 27. I think I missed the horror show, that which must be born, and maybe the best seat in the house. Here we go. My objectives are to leave this world in a good state. Not just the efforts that I leave behind, but also the people. Leave them as well provided for as I can, knowing that I loved them once I'm gone. And with some copies of my book scattered here and there. And to not waste my time. To never ever watch reruns. Unless there's a very good reason. Unless it's the principle of fun. But there's no time to waste. And the time that I spend has to be squeezed towards good things. Not just killing time. And to work hard on my list of objectives and principles. To keep it well maintained. Free from clutter. As free as possible from error. And tuned and aimed towards virtue. Where virtue is the efforts that I make to improve the well-being of thinking creatures. To husband and manage my emotions such that I am not a person that is prone to lose control. And to do good things through the day. To see my limits. To identify where they apply in my life. And to see past, that's not right. To see past, I guess it is, to see past the limits, to the things that are there, but aren't for me. But to also apprehend my opportunities. So that even if I don't, even if I choose not to, even if I do not choose to pursue them, at least I know what they are. And to always be slow and quiet and deliberate with everything that I do and say and how I live. To be fighting always against things that I think are true, never holding on to them as precious treasures, always with a tentative gaze that they might be corrupt in some way or full of error, cracked or hollow. To find that out. To use an honest mind and an objective framework, objective outlook. And to be very skeptical. To be reasonable. Excuse me. I just got out of the shower. I got some water in my ear. Snoring dog. To remember that there's nothing in me that will last past death except my atoms. To remember that whatever is in me that is aware now is trapped within me. And that though the similar awareness in others, it's trapped within them too. And none of us can really connect, although we can signal and wave and throw sound out of our mouths, and write things down at one another. There's still an incredible void between each of us. And what we think is right and wrong are mere opinions, which is one of the reasons why there's so much awfulness in the world. Well, we can't abide one another, our differing opinions. And to have some reason for my days, a good reason to wake up before dawn and to go to sleep around the time the sun goes down, so that I have a full night and a lot of energy the next day as much as I can to pursue a better world, to pursue the making of it a better world. To know that at my core, I am made of little bits and pieces, atoms, that seemingly one by one have no consciousness to them, but put together somehow light up the person that is me for a little bit of time. And that this constituent thing has some things about it that are the way it is. Likewise, you, everybody. Not just people and animals, but things too. And it's good to know what that nature is, so that we can live in more better accord with reality. And to remember that the decisions that I make are influenced greatly by the world around me, are only my own insofar as I am the animated agent that's making the decision. But to remember that I probably don't have much choice, or any, in the end. And that to become the man that I want to be, a mature and reasonable human being, I have to remember my past and what worked and what failed, so that I can do better and have the strength to do better. And to remember that I need others. I need to be with them. I need to be a part of my family. I need to take care of my family. I need to be a good coworker and a good friend and a good citizen, a good husband and father, son, brother, all of those things, and an in-law. And to be very careful about what I say, to choose my words, both written and spoken, carefully, to compose terse, tight, deliberate sentences, packed with deliberated meaning, conveying the message that I seek to say. To live a controlled life, consuming just enough, if anything, just a little more, but not more than that, of everything, including the things that I do, the job that I work, the family that I live with, all the efforts that I make, just enough, the coffee that I drink. And to remember that life and the world are a horror show, a true horror show. Just in some ways, it's a hell of a sorts. Happening, if not to you and me right now, it's happening to those around us in the immediate area, maybe even in our family. And it's coming for each of us. Not that it's anything. It is just the natural consequence of the world. But the horror is coming. I need to remember that. And not be unduly cowered into the corner, or made so timid that I can be ineffectual in my efforts, or robbed of my joy, or my optimism. But to gulp deep, sigh once in a while, and then roll up my sleeves, straighten my posture, go live the day, in spite of the fact. Working hard even through the down, which is what we must bear, each of us. To not allow myself the distraction of life, such that I can't see the emptiness beyond life, the totality of death, the annihilation of the homunculus after the energy of our lights sweeps out. And this apparatus goes dim and quiet, and cold. Instead, I want to apprehend and face the emptiness of the universe, the eternity of nothing beyond life. To be all right with my circumstance, where I am, who I am, and what I'm doing. To not want anything more. Yet all the while, striving for better. To stay on the path of wildness, moving forward through new life. Staying for a while in an open meadow. This one here is very nice, actually. There's a golf course in back. The dogs can look over the wall. But I'm preparing for the next one already. A new life, a new chapter, a new story with my wife. I've told you about the Path of Wildness. It's easy to find. It's the course of a stream, leaves blown in the wind, a beast's track through the brush, in the direction of our first inclination. To attend to not only the surface level risks of life, of education and career, family, home, security, bubbly coffee, but to also attend to the deep risk of life, of answering that voice inside me from my early days asking, who are you? Come find out. And taking that adventure, that life adventure, that great life adventure, to make that discovery. And if it's not a discovery, but to fabricate an identity out of life, to fabricate a story, to create a story. be careful about what I believe, to not lie, to not believe things too readily, to avoid hope uncoupled from action, to recognize faith as an excuse that we use to believe what we want when we don't have any other good reason. To beware the institutions of life that prescribe belief to join, and the traditions that are entailed in such. The petty, entertaining beliefs of superstition. And then, of course, to never ever gossip. And then to keep in mind always that there is no good reason to think that there's any life after death. That this time I have now is the only chance that I'll have to spend time with my family. And if we've got things in a sour state, this is the time to make amends. And if justice needs to be sought in some way, then I better do it while I'm alive, to help facilitate that while I'm alive. Because none of these things will be attended to after death. We won't see one another again. We won't embrace. We won't make amends. And rights will not be applied to the wrongs of life. These things all require our attention in the years that we're alive. I mentioned the great life adventure, right? That thing that comes of getting on the path of wildness. That thing that makes our story, that forms our identity, that gives us some semblance of peace in our later life when we realize that our time is running out, that our faculties are diminishing, our fear is growing, the night is approaching. It's good to have had that effort in the younger years when we were more able. And to be ready to write down whatever words come as a result of our life, our story, to put it to paper or to draw a picture, to tell a story, or just a soft smile of satisfaction when those moments come, because they don't come again. And if they do come again, they didn't come again. They were something else. It never comes again. To strive to hit the mark, but ready to accept a miss. To step again today, uphill another step, just like I did yesterday. Another step up, climbing, always upward. Smaller steps than yesterday maybe, but always upward. Pausing once in a while to turn back and see where we've been, see how high we've climbed. To keep our principles about our waist, like tools on a utility belt, to be ready to bring them to bear as needed throughout the day, to remind ourselves of these things regularly, daily if possible, and to keep those things, those instruments, clean and sharp and oiled, ready for use. To keep in mind that the better avenue, the better draw is to have less. Adding more tends to just encumber and clutter and wear us down and make us inert. Whereas less is a way to move forward. It's like a freedom of a sort. So I strive for less, except the important things. And what are those important things? Photographs and memories, and things that facilitate our forward march, our forward adventure. And then lastly, to remember to have a good time, to enjoy life. It's not all hard work. Not always just attention to the effort, to the detail, to the providing, the making of a way forward for the next generation, and some alleviation for the horror show. Sometimes it's just about smiling and laughing and having a nice time. All right, there we go. That's my good life creed. Now for today. It's a Friday off. I've got the whole day. The centerpiece of my day is my lunch with my friend Hugh, who I'm going to meet at the Vietnamese restaurant over on by the Tyler Mall in Riverside. Place that he and I used to go to when I worked before, when he and I worked before together. I'm really looking forward to that. He was a great guy. And then maybe I'll take my book and go somewhere and read after that. That would be nice. I don't anticipate being ambushed by much today. I think it'll be a pretty straightforward day. But I'll have my utilities at ready, my principles, just in case. I feel good. It's a good day. All right, but I know that won't last. Lesser days are coming. Okay. Take care. Be safe, but not too safe. Bye-bye.